Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Jeanne Gallagher, just with Discover Rising Tides, How the Outside Makes the Inside Better, and welcome. And I'm here with Denise DeGaulle. Hey, Denise.
Hey, Jean.
Hey, we're continuing our conversation on your interesting take on resolutions and how we should really look at these so much more differently than we do, because it's really a habit change. And I love what you want to talk about, because you're talking about asking for help. And that's not something that's usually on the, it's not on the bingo card for resolutions.
No, and this I think kind of, it comes along with resolutions, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, resolutions and what we should be or what we could be doing better in a couple of other episodes as well. But this one I think is really important because, we've been told forever, oh, you have to make a New Year's resolution. What's your New Year's resolution? This year I said, I'm done with these resolutions. They don't work for tons of reasons. So I decided, let's pick a theme. So we've been talking about what that theme is, right? My theme for the year is impact. What kind of impact that I want to have on myself, obviously, my husband, my family, my friends, my clients, and our audience, right? And what I realized in the last couple of weeks, that something is missing when we're creating this theme, whatever it is, impact, harmony, give it, whatever you've decided. What did you decide? Did you pick one?
A word, excuse me, a word?
Theme, yeah.
Decide.
Decide. Ha. So, okay, so this is interesting. So what I find is we've created these ideas now, this theme for the year, and it's ours. We've taken ownership of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But can we achieve it the way we want to on our own?
It's a good question. We think we should, because the ego takes over.
Absolutely. We think we should. Ha, there's that word. Trying to remove that word out of my vocabulary. Because when we talk about, we should do this or I should do that, we kind of are pushing, it's kind of like getting pushed into doing something rather than like getting pulled to do something because it's something you want to do. Right. So when we do all these things by ourselves, one, it gets lonely. Two, you kind of lose momentum. And, three, you kind of all of a sudden go, wait, what did I start out to do anyway? And I'm doing this all by myself. Why am I doing that? So I have a client who, she's a friend actually. Sometimes I think I'm more her client than she is mine. But she used to own a fitness studio down in Florida. And when she first opened, she tried to manage everything herself. Now, she is in incredible shape. She loves this studio. And it was really what she always wanted to do. She did literally everything. She was teaching classes. She was marketing. She was cleaning the toilets, right? And eventually, the workload just was overwhelming. She wasn't having fun anymore.
Right.
So what do you do in that situation? Do you close up shop? No, of course not. What do we do?
That's not why she got into it, though. She didn't get into it not to have fun.
Exactly. The same thing with our theme for the year. We didn't get into it not to have fun or not to succeed. So what we realized when I was talking to my friend Lisa is she was always that she's always been kind of that driver, type A personality. I can do anything, and she basically can. Whatever she's tried, she's succeeded at. What she realized at this point was trying to do it on her own was failing. However, when she asked for help, she got an assistant. She got paid someone to clean the studio every night. All of a sudden, she enjoyed what she was doing because she she was back to herself. She wasn't the jack of all trades. She was the amazing fitness pro that she had set out to be. So why do you think we as women, especially at this stage in our lives, um, the midlife stage, why do you think we do this? Like we feel we need to do this and we need to do it on our own.
I like to think that that was a rhetorical question.
Yes.
because I don't know that I have an answer, but I feel like I'm falling into this pattern, so I'm uncomfortable answering the question. But it gets to a point when we get to be of a certain age that we just like, well, it's just easier if I do it.
That is a big part of it because one, there's, letting go. Right. A lot of times you think, yeah, it's faster if I just do this, but it's faster if I do this and faster if I do this. And all of a sudden now you've got 10 things that'll be faster. But if you had taught one person how to do one of them, you could actually focus more. So when we ask for help, whether it's, asking our BFF to support us, be an accountability partner, if we hire an assistant, oh, God forbid, right? How many businesswomen do we know say, oh, I don't really have the money to hire an assistant? Well, if they hired the assistant, they'd have more money because they'd be focusing on the things that were important, right? And let's be real, at this stage in life, energy can be an issue. I don't have the same amount of energy I did at 53 and 3/4 than I did when I was 20. Still energetic and I still feel good. But let's be real, by 6 o'clock at night, I'm done. Where I used to be able to go, 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 go. I was the Energizer Bunny, right? Friends in college used to call me Perpetual Motion 2, because apparently I had a friend who was Perpetual Motion 1.
But
Always
doesn't it
going.
become the work harder, not work smarter, not harder piece? And that's what you
Absolutely.
were talking about with your friend. She's working harder and she's working harder, but she's not working as smartly as she should be.
Exactly. So this is the time when, whether you've made a resolution, if you did, I recommend stepping back and creating a theme for the year. If you've already created that theme for the year, awesome. But now it's time to think, who do I need to support me to make sure this happens the way I want it to? So,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Last thought. Success.
Please.
Success is not a solo journey. It's about sharing it with others.
What a great way to end that one. Thanks, Denise.
You're welcome.
Hello, everyone. This is Jeanne Gallagher, Discover Rising Tides, and I want to just take a moment to talk about my friend, Denise Stegall. I am honored to call her as a friend, and I'm so grateful that she gives us her insight during our shows, each show, and talks about healthy living, eating real food. You hear Denise say, eat real food a lot. Well, she means it, and she knows what she's talking about. She is an amazing healthy living coach, curator at Living Healthy List. And if you ever have any questions about what is real food, why does it matter? How does that apply to me? How do I change? What do I need to do? How do I even create a healthy living shopping list? Make sure that you call her. She is your healthy living coach, and you can find her at healthylivinglist.com. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Discover Rising Tides, How the Outside Makes the Inside Better. My name is Jeanne Gallagher, and I'm so glad that you're here. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcast platform, you'd like to see our smiley faces, come on over to YouTube, like and subscribe as well. And you can interact with us here, leave a comment if you'd like to. So today, I'm really excited to introduce Gail Rappaport-Weiland. Gail, nice to meet you. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. I'm excited to speak with you.
Oh, so am I. And logistically, we have some things in common between where you teach, and we'll get to that part, and where you currently live now. So as I've lived down there for a little bit as well. So there's some commonality also, but I'm really excited to delve in. Before we get started, give us a little bit about your background, and then we'll just jump in.
Well, as you said, I'm Gail Rappaport-Weiland, and sometimes they call me the classy artist with countless styles because I paint so many different things. But this is part of my purpose, part of my life, part of who I am. I'm an artist and a teacher, and I also do art consulting. And I grew up in Brooklyn, but I've always been a free spirit, and I've traveled all over the world. And art has always been part of me, and I believe it's part of my purpose. I love people, I love teaching, I love learning new things, and I am very grateful and honored that people want to collect my art, and also as a teacher want to give me their valuable time, because what I always say to my students at class, you choose to be here with me, and time is the one thing you can't get more of. So when people choose, even you and I today, to spend time together, it is always an honor for me.
Well, thank you. That's very, very sweet of you to say. And it is very true too, because when someone makes a choice to be in whatever environment they're making it, but they're there because of a choice, that really is a statement in itself.
Absolutely, I agree 100%.
How did you know? So I am not an artist. So I'm putting that out there. So if I ask you questions and you go, well, that is really true, you do have no idea. How did you know that you had this talent in you?
I don't necessarily think it's a knowing. I
Hmm.
mean, I have a picture of me probably at my fourth birthday with a paintbrush in my hand. So, maybe that said something. But I will be very honest. Like in college, I have a degree in recreation, but in that degree, I took art classes and drawing classes, et cetera, et cetera. And a good friend of mine that I went to college with, that, no need to mention her name, she could draw me out of a paper bag. Let's put it this way. I mean, she was innately skilled, I believe. And I'm not saying I don't have some innate skill, but I have worked very, very hard going many, many moons ago to workshops all over the country when I was in my 20s, because I had a thirst for this artistic knowledge.
Hmm.
And she became a reading teacher, and again, now in later life, doing art again. But I put the time and the effort in. And so I believe as a teacher that when you say you're not an artist, we all have that within. It's just if you choose to take that gift that we all have and put the work in. It's, some people are very good at math. They decide to be an accountant, or they decide to do something else mathematical. And so I think it's your choice of putting the work in for anything that you do.
It's true. It's very true. And in our conversations prior, you said that, if I showed up at a class, you could actually teach me to paint. So I'm really intrigued with that too. So
Yes,
that
I
just might
can.
happen. We'll get to the classes part, but that just might happen. In one thing that I would assume, right? So everybody in any of their experiences, whether it's a career or a family or whatever, you watch yourself evolve as we all change. But the record of your evolving is can be right in front of you, watching your paintings change over time. That must be really interesting to see, to be able to look back and see where you are not necessarily judging the quality of the work, but the style of the work has changed and evolved and maybe matured over time. Would that be right?
Yeah, I think that's an accurate assessment. I believe that painting is part of my soul. And I
Mm.
feel that my paintbrush is an extension of my soul, or my pencil, or my, whatever tool of the trade that I'm using.
Hmm.
And I do believe your soul is here for a purpose.
Mm.
And I paint, often, galleries, let's say, want you to have, 20 paintings that essentially look alike because they want you to have a series. They want you to be the same. And those galleries don't fit my needs, because I paint what I feel. I don't paint like, oh, I'm going to paint this because I know it's going to sell. You don't know what's going to sell. Do you know? I paint my feelings. I paint my inner soul. I paint my emotions. And if somebody else connects with that, I think it's absolutely wonderful. And I believe every painting I paint is painted for someone, as silly as that might sound. And sometimes I'll have a painting for years, or sometimes the minute I paint it, because I think it has different energy, it really connects to people. So yes, I change, but I also, because I teach like birch trees, the joke is I can paint those with my eyes closed. I mean, I've taught art docents, I've, in-service schools in Roseville and Rockland, and so if there's any birch tree in the Placer County area, I've probably taught you how to paint, and so, yes, because I've had so many experiences of being a Grumbacher and a golden artist educator, and now I'm a silver brush artist educator. I've worked with so many different companies that I've had the advantage of being around product and getting to try product that maybe the normal person wouldn't have had the opportunity to try. So my paintings change because of that reason also. And, change is good. It's just like when Joni Mitchell changed. Nobody wanted her to change, but the people that are surrounding you may want you to change or not change. It kind of depends. But then again, you fit where you're supposed to fit.
Well said. Well said. And so has your medium changed?
I would say that I'm predominantly teaching watercolor. That was my first. I do teach some mixed media, like you'll see in my classes. There's a mixed media sampler class coming up. And so now painting for myself, I generally do more acrylic mixed media, but I would say that I'm teaching more watercolor. Because it's interesting. It seems like people want to learn more watercolor, but people want to purchase more acrylic mixed media, I find.
Why, do you any idea why that is?
In past history, watercolors were actually something that major artists used more as a sketch tool rather than something they were selling. If you notice in museums, it's mostly oils. I used to love watercolor for the transparency. But now I really enjoy the richness of acrylic. And I also enjoy acrylic because you don't have to deal with waiting like an eternity for it to dry. Because I like immediate, what's that word?
Immediate gratification.
Thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. My mind went blank.
And has your subject matter changed at all over time? Or have you found that you were focusing more in one type of a subject matter, and how is there a correlation between the subject matter and where you are in life?
Well, this does, segue into me painting angels.
Let's talk
Angels
about that.
always showed up in my work. And if I could stand,
Sure.
let me grab something. So this piece, okay, this is not clearly an angel. It's called My Body and Soul, but you see the kind of gargoyle thing in there? I didn't paint that. That showed up. And I didn't paint it out. And then this piece, and I'm just walking around here.
You're fine.
Now, the angels started showing up, and I said, okay, I'll paint you. And so I helped, and this is the colors Fred doesn't like. But I said, okay, I'll paint you. And so they've always shown up in my paintings, and I have to be honest, I kind of ignored them. It was like, okay, just whatever. If you're in the painting and somebody sees it, that's fine. Just kind of leave me alone. And then finally there was something in me, and I don't know what you believe or what you don't believe, and it doesn't matter what religion you are or if you're not. I just felt like at all hours of the night, I just had to paint angels. I mean, I just had to. And I believe part of it, because I have some crazy angel stories, that these angels or whatever these beings choose to be in my paintings, they connect me, like with you, of who I'm supposed to be connected with. And I sell them, of course, but I also, when I feel the need, I give them to a person that shows up in my life for some odd, strange reason that needs an angel. And then, those people I choose to gift it to. And
that's fantastic.
so I believe, again, part of purpose, that I was following my heart
Mm.
when this was happening. I could have said no, but I am curious enough and open enough. And I have to be honest, I have to be hit over the head quite a few times. It's like, okay, I need a direct sign. I need it very clear, no. And so, yeah, so then I guess that's when I started to believe that this is part of what I'm supposed to be doing.
Can you share one of your angel stories?
Sure. Okay. And I won't use names, but
Okay.
there's a speech therapist, and this is someone I don't know, it was off of social media, and in her office, she collected my angels. And again, she paid me for them, so it wasn't like, she was giving me some story because she wanted free angels.
Right.
And so she worked with autistic young people, and this little, apparently preschool young man, uh, nonverbal, would come to her office, and they would have their session. And one day she got in touch with me and said, Gail, I have to tell you this. And I said, okay. She said, little boy, let's just call him Charlie. Charlie came with his father in hand and went to the angel wall. And he started clearly explaining those angels to his father.
Wow.
And then she said,
And he was nonverbal.
he was nonverbal.
Wow.
And, she has no reason to tell me a story that's not true. Comes into her office, and to the best of my knowledge, has not spoken again.
Wow.
And so, I mean, that personally blew my mind. And because of HIPAA laws, I couldn't know who this person is, but I asked, could I paint him, in angel? And she gave it to him. And, and I don't know what happened past that, but, and I'm going to try to make the rest of the story short, long, like short, but not long, because it goes on. Then myself and somebody else, I don't want to give too many details. This woman got ill in her home, but didn't have contact, but a lot of people knew that she bought angels for me and things from this other artist. And we worked on finding who she needed, because these people kind of asked us because they knew of the connection. And so it went full circle. And then third, I'm in Seaside Gallery, which is no longer. A woman from the East Coast comes in. We get talking. Her husband is the same name as my husband. My daughter's the same name as her daughter. She needed some medical assistance because they were from out of town. I connected her. And then we come to find out she too is a speech therapist.
Oh my.
He ends up connecting with this speech therapist.
Wow.
And so it was just, and I get to the point myself where I go, okay, wow, this is weird. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And it was the funniest thing because the other day I was with a friend and something like this, not this exact story happened. And she just kind of rolled her eyes and went, oh my God, this happens to you all the time.
All the time.
It's like, this is, to this person, because this person was like, oh my, and she was just rolling her eyes going, oh no, not another incident.
Yeah.
Or,
What
so
an
yeah, it
amazing
just
story.
happens.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. And I can't imagine how that speech therapist and even the dad thought when the child verbalized over your paintings.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I'm not because I don't want to put that out there. I always say this, someone wants by, oh, is it going to cure me? Is that I'm
Right.
not saying that, that is not. I just know that it connects me, whatever this energy is, it connects me and guides me personally to who I need to help, share with, be around.
Mhm.
I find it pretty uncanny, actually,
Yeah.
but I think anybody can have this if you're open to it. And
Mm.
I'm a very open person, and I'm always amazed at classes when I'm traveling, that people will tell me stuff that I just sit there and go, really? You don't know me? And it's like, okay, I'm here to listen.
That's amazing. And you used the word already, so I'm just going to bring it back up and share it again to you. And you used the word purpose.
Hmm.
And not knowing what that purpose is, but having it being very strong in your body, that energy piece that needs to flow out to and make a difference for others is just a unique situation.
Well, I guess I'm a dreamer.
Mm-hmm.
I follow my dreams. I'm motivated by dreams. My father, may he rest in peace, and I think I give this to my daughter. You can do anything you put your mind to. And that's why, again, even in my classes, fear is paralyzing.
Mm-hmm.
And if you come and go, I can't do it, then you're not going to be able to do it because you're telling yourself, just like you did at the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
you're telling yourself you can't. Think of being, I mean, I would say I'm an intermediate skier, but when I've gotten on the top of, a black diamond and going, okay, I'm never getting down. Well, obviously I got down. I'm here. Now, I may not have gotten down eloquently,
Right.
but I got down, even if it was on my butt,
With all your limbs intact and in one piece.
Right, right, right. So again, I think we do that to ourselves
Mm-hmm.
because I think we have a lot more ability if we strip the fear.
Mm. That's interesting. Yeah, that's a great statement. And so as you're feeling drawn to paint I think the angels piece is just really fascinating because it's
Mm-hmm,
coming from inside an internal piece or something inside of you that feels like it needs to get out.
mm-hmm.
And is it possible to describe what is it like when you are painting an angel and you feel this really need to paint? Do you know what it's going to look like? You don't. I didn't think so.
Yeah,
And what's that process like as you're painting? And then what does it feel like when you're looking at the finished product?
to be very honest, and I'll grab a couple just to show you how different they all are.
For those on the podcast, you got to get onto YouTube because this is where the magic happens.
So, like just to show you how absolutely different they
Oh,
all
so
are.
different. Yeah.
I don't, this is making it black.
No, it's totally fine. You're fine.
And I don't know if you see all the small angles
Yeah.
underneath her. And then this one was inspired by, I bought a calendula, is that how pronounced? I say calendula, the New York
A
pronouncement,
calendula
but
flower.
calendula.
Yeah,
Yeah,
calendula flower.
was inspired by that. Like I bought that flower, and that flower, okay, I'm gonna be put in a straitjacket. that flower was wanting me to paint this angel. It was like, and I felt like I had to buy that. I love orange, but
Mhm.
I felt like that flower wanted me to paint this piece,
Isn't that amazing?
and this was a painting under it that I hated the painting, disliked immensely, I guess is a better word. And again, all these little angels underneath this, maybe mother angel,
Hmm.
uh, they just showed up. And so again, no, I am clueless as to what they're going to show up. And in most of my abstract type paintings, you they change, and I think this is with any artist. There's like a love-hate relationship with your art. I,
Hmm.
one minute it's working, one minute it's not working, then I just paint over the whole thing and say, okay, I hate it. And then paintings, honestly, that haven't sold, if they're with me too long, they may get it.
Well, hello, everyone. You'll notice that there was a little technical difficulty and we dropped off mid-sentence. So we're just going to jump back in there. So thanks very much for your patience. But Gail, we were talking about your angel painting and painting them and not knowing where they were going to go. And you had just shared some different angel paintings that you had done and how different they are, and the calendula painting and how it called to you. The flower said, paint me as an angel. And I think it's fascinating that there's this internal communication that has to escape you onto your medium and come out as an angel. And what does it, when you're done and you mentioned too that you're painting and it's not right and you've painted all over and started again, but once you're at that finished product, are you surprised?
Um, Maybe sometimes, and then there's even things, because I mean, in my studio alone right now, I probably have 150 paintings.
Hmm.
And am I surprised? There are paintings that I go back to because people say, "Oh, teach this class again," and I'm not a robot, and I'm also very transparent, and it's like I don't remember how I did it.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure where I would begin. Like, and I'm not saying, like I said, birch trees I can paint with my eyes closed, but there are certain pieces, it's like, again, even in class, I'm painting from here,
Hmm.
unless
That
it's,
inspiration piece.
yes, unless it's a certain class that is a very step by step,
Hmm.
people are tracing the piece. It's just, it's the same over and over again. But even that, it's never exactly the same
Hmm.
because your mood, your feeling, did I have a fight with my husband before I showed up at class?
Hmm.
Did, I mean, I am the type of person, and I think I told you this when we spoke, that I had broken my back swimming with dolphins,
Hmm.
and I have a very good work ethic. And I was in a brace from here to here. And it had only been about a week. So I was in a fair amount of pain. And it's 5 hours from Pismo to Rockland, with not a lot of stops. And we were driving for about an hour to get to class. And I was in pain. And I said to myself, we may not make it. And then I
Hmm.
got like to a certain way, and I went, okay, go. We're not stopping. It doesn't hurt. We will and I taught in a brace with a cane, and I have a lot of veteran students that have been with me, for 35 years. And like, I can't believe you're here. And it's like rain, snow, sleet.
You
I'm
and the
there.
mailman.
Yes, yes, I am the art mail person.
And so let's talk about the classes a little bit. And what's it like teaching adults? Is it
I love
different?
it. Yes, it
Hmm.
is. Because I have taught children, I have in my recreation degree, I have an emphasis in special education. And I have, like I said, in service by myself within the classroom, K through 12, and gone in the classroom. children are darling.
Mhm.
Young adults are darling. Adults want to be there.
Mm,
They're there by choice. They don't have to be there. And I honestly prefer not dealing with discipline. You
mhm.
know, it's just not fun to me. And so if I have my druthers and my choice, which I do have, I prefer teaching adults.
Is it, do you notice, I'm just assuming, or maybe I'm hoping that this would happen if I took your class. Is there an amazement or, oh wow, look what I can do? Because, adults, I think that we all as adults need to learn new things often, and we
Also,
probably don't.
well, also what I find, honestly, yes, after class, people are very pleased, but adults are also unlike children who have much more of a curiosity, I believe, and
Mm,
aren't as hard on themselves.
right?
Whereas adults are extremely hard on themselves. And I've had actually counselors have people come to my class because I try to lift that. And I do prove that in the beginner class where I supply all the materials and we do create a small painting at the end, that they can accomplish something even in a first class. Because again, from the background that I have, I sort of like task analysis. You break down a task so simply that someone can achieve. Like I had the many, many moons ago when I first started teaching the superintendent of Rockland schools take my class.
Hmm.
And he came up to me and he was like, I've never seen anyone, and I'm not gloating, I'm just
Right now.
reporting. I've never seen such a good teacher. And he said, do you know that you do direct instruction? And I'm sitting there going, no, what's that? So again, I think some people can teach intuitively, and I
Mhm.
am one of those. Just because you can ski well, just because you can paint well, just because you have expertise in a school doesn't mean you can teach. I think
Mhm.
teaching is a gift. I think not everybody has that gift.
Mhm.
And I think that gift is very difficult to learn.
Yes. Yes. Well, it has to be nurtured.
Mhm.
But there's that, then again, I would also think too, we're talking about your paintings and the inspiration that comes in order to, to get things onto paper, if you will, or canvas, that intuition of teaching, there's an intuition piece there that happens as well, because I would think that even though the content is similar from a beginner class to a beginner class, how you go about that has to change a little bit with the dynamics of the classroom.
Oh, absolutely. It's just like it's called differentiation.
Hmm.
You and especially 'cause a beginner class, sometimes I'll have 28 people. And my aerobic part is running around dealing with everybody individually, but it's understanding, differentiating one of the techniques or one of the tasks so that the person who can only grasp a little bit. And I did have someone who in class had Alzheimer's. I didn't know
Mm.
this, but
Oh,
I was
wow.
able to react to what
Hmm.
was going on. I wish the information had been given to me, but she did beautifully, myself understanding that no, she wasn't going to be able to do the 16 steps. But if she even did for her 2 steps, that was a success. And what is
Exactly.
success? Success is different for every person.
Mm. And so what's popular nowadays is a paint and sip class.
Which I've been
Which,
asked to
which
do.
I
Not
just
my
wanted to
favorite.
kind of touch on that because I know what you're talking about is totally different.
Totally different.
Because the paint and I haven't participated, but the paint and sip class is basically everybody's painting the same picture, and it's very, very rudimented in paint this here.
So, um, how do I put this? Not that
Any
I,
way you like.
not that sometimes I don't do the same picture with everybody also, which
Sure.
could be compared to that. But the difference is I think people that are coming to a class are looking for something different than people that are coming for a social event.
Hmm.
And I also, obviously, in a college course, people aren't partaking in party items, and I think that too changes the dynamic of the class. And again, I'm not saying it's bad. There's something for everybody. That
Everything is different. You're right.
right, that
But
that
you're
is
giving
what
more instruction of hows and whys, and there's the teaching aspect of the art.
well, I'm going into more depth.
Hmm.
And so, for instance, in a beginner class, the first 45 minutes, you think you're not going to paint because I'm going over a material list. So
Hmm.
that when you walk out and then you want to come to another class and materials are not provided, you walk in as an empowered purchaser
Hmm.
to Michael's or Silverbrush on the internet, or where you're buying your things. But you're more successful in your purchase when you know what a flat brush is or a round brush, or and you go in with your paper and your material list, and the people in the store, we don't know what these things are,
Hmm.
so I empower you.
Oh, that's wonderful. And so you live in the Pismo area,
I
which
do.
is close to my heart.
It's heaven.
And but you teach up in Placer County in the Rockland Roseville area, correct?
Yeah, I teach at Sierra College community
Hmm.
programs, and I teach here in Pismo at Cuesta Community Programs. And you can find those all and a full class on my website at grappaport.com, grappaport.com. Because
Wonderful. And where do people find you other than your website on social media as well?
yeah, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, on LinkedIn. Those are probably my main places. And and it's not me. I mean, it's not me, it is me everywhere. I'm answering your questions. I know a lot of people have helpers and
Hmm.
AI bots, and it's all above my head. You get me
You
on
get you.
social media.
Which is
And
a really wonderful thing. And if somebody's looking to see what art you're doing, that's all on your website as well.
well, you're going to get the most recent art, honestly,
Hmm.
on social media. My website is a landing space.
Okay.
There are things for sale. You can also, I'll roll back here. You can also, yeah, I'm trying to grab this. You can also get things on my website, which you can order them directly, like,
Hmm.
is that upside down?
Nope.
Like coasters, that's upside down. And they're really nice coasters, and
Oh,
they
really nice. Yeah.
they come with a holder, and those things, I don't even know that you're buying them. You just click and buy. And
Perfect.
but as far as buying paintings, you can't buy them off of my website. You have to deal directly with me. I know paintings have different price points, and I have a large price point. So I do payments with a lot of people too,
Oh, wonderful.
because it makes it comfortable. But
Makes
I have, greeting cards that start at $7, but I have paintings that go up to $4 or $5,000. So, I like there being something for everybody, and
Mhm.
I want art to be reachable. I don't want it to only be for an elite population.
That's wonderful. And I appreciate that. And I encourage everybody to take a look at your website. And if you're in the Placer County or the Pismo area and want to take a class in person, um, sign up. The information is on your website. And I thank you so much for sharing your stories and giving us sharing your art. It's been wonderful conversation.
Well, I will let you know, just last point, that
Yes.
if you're in the Pismo area, if you call me, we can make an in-person appointment to call, email, message to see my studio. Or I also, and I do them for people around the world, I do virtual tours to my
Oh,
studio.
wonderful.
And again, I am an art consultant. So if we do a tour and you say, I need something over my couch over here, what can you suggest? And we FaceTime and I help you with that also. And I work with realtors and all different kinds of people to, fulfill your art needs. So I love what I do. I feel that art is energy. I'm a pretty high energy person and I love sharing that energy with all of you. And thank you so much for doing this podcast. I appreciate it and I am grateful. And you were lovely to talk to.
Oh, thank you, Gail, so much. My pleasure. Thank you so much for listening today. Today's show is sponsored by Seaside Solutions, my financial services company. As a business owner, it's easy to be pulled in many different directions, and often taking care of yourself plummets to the bottom of the list. For me, I find myself outside to reground. My time outdoors helps me manage my day more effectively and be more present for my clients. Through this, Discover Rising Tides was born. At Seaside Solutions, we truly believe that education is the foundation of financial wellness. Our primary focus is to provide guidance that is designed to help you achieve your long-term financial goals and visions. Working with a plan allows space for doing more things that you love, like being outside to make the inside better. If I can help you create or realign your plan, or if you would like to be added to my weekly newsletter, please let me know. This week's topic was 5 ways to set more achievable goals. Your referral means the big, beautiful world to me. And if I can help, please let me know. And thank you so much for listening and see you next time.